Hello and welcome to this week's Glasstire Top 5. It is the week of January 21st, 2020. I'm Brandon Zech.
I'm Christina Rees.
And we're coming to you from a bench just outside of the Rothko Chapel. We'll get to that in a second. We're here in Houston, but first we're going to start with number 5. Number 5 is a show of works by Conan Chadwick. It's at the Beeville Museum of Art.
Yeah, so Conan Chadwick, a San Antonio-based artist, got a degree in mathematics and physics at NYU, and his work is very much based in kind of mathematical and scientific ideas and formulas, but he's taking older traditions of art, including Islamic architecture, temple paintings from Japan, African textiles, etc. And he's doing these very kind of high-definition inkjet prints. This is at the Beeville Museum of Art in Beeville, Texas, which is this kind of beautiful old historic house museum.
It's a stone's throw from Houston. Number 4 this week is at the Modern Art Museum of Fort Worth. It's their newest Focus show, which is works by Churchman.
So Churchman is a New York-based painter. I don't know how long he's been painting. I think what's interesting about this show, I do want to see, and I'm very curious because he's not known for doing any particular kind of painting, and so when you read reviews of his work or his previous shows or read curatorial statements about it, you have things that say things like this. I'm just going to read it. Churchman's imagery is broad and varied, mirroring the sheer abundance and circulation of visual information today. Make of it what you want. I don't know what art history is going to do with this particular painter over time, because there isn't any one particular way that he paints or type of imagery. It's kind of all over the place, but the individual images I've seen are nice, and he's an emerging artist for sure out of New York, and it's interesting that the Modern is doing this particular show. So number 3 on our list is we're here at the Rothko Chapel. Now, you may be like, why is this on the Glasstire Top 5 list? Because it reopened, and it reopened fairly recently with its new, very celebrated skylight. When the Rothko Chapel opened originally in '71, it has a big window at the very top of it, a skylight, but because of the raking light of Houston, they put a baffle over it in 1976, and so it's been very dark in there ever since. Well, after a multi-million-dollar redo, including the campus and a new visitor center, etc., all of which we reported on in Glasstire extensively, the Rothko reopened, and it is reopened on time tickets. So we went in and saw the skylight today.
Yeah, I think this was my first time in, definitely since the reopening, and maybe in a little while too. It was nice to see the paintings again. You know, it's a quiet space, time tickets. You have to go into the visitor center to kind of check in. It's a new experience for the Rothko, and it's just nice to be outside on the grounds again. They really put a lot of attention into them. Number 2 this week is a show of works by Ruth Pastine at Gallery Sonia Roach in Houston. This is a show, these are kind of like minimalistic color field paintings. We'll show you some images. This is one of those shows that really it doesn't communicate. The images, you see gradations and you see, you know, it's gradation paintings, but in person, it's one of those things where you get close to it and it just kind of collapses, and then you step back and you're like, wait, how has this been painted? It's a really nice show. It was extended. It was supposed to close at the end of this month, but now it's through February, and it's also, this year marks Sonia Roach's 30th anniversary as a gallerist, so it's kind of a nice, you know, lead into the year, and a beautiful show. And number 1 this week is a show at the University of Texas San Antonio, UTSA. The show's called Trauma and Response.
So Trauma and Response, what caught our eye about this is the artist in the show. It's a group show, and of course the title is perfect for right now. This was curated, by the way, by Scott Scherer, a PhD, and he's picked Annabelle Dow, Joaquin West, Alfranco Lee II, Hyde Fontenot, and Adria Flores. Now, Annabelle Dow, Joaquin West, Alfranco Lee, and Hyde Fontenot are all very heavily associated with the show that I reviewed back in 2014 called Draftsman of the Apocalypse, which was also sort of about trauma and response. Hyde actually is the one who curated that show up at Central Track in Dallas. So this is a group of artists who are really good at this kind of collective trauma sort of work when they want to put their backs into it that way, as we know. So these are powerful images. I think this will be a good show. It's a very timely show. It's about right here, right now, artists making work in response to our cultural moment, and it opens today. So you got some time until February 19th to check out this show at the galleries at UTSA.